Welcome to Disney StoryTime! To hear the story read to you, tap the orange button. To read by yourself, tap the red button.
WALL-E, Down to Earth. Long ago, when the planet became too polluted, humans were forced to leave Earth on a luxury spaceship called the Axiom. Hundreds of robots served the humans in every way. They cleaned and cooked. They even made ice cream sundaes. Sometimes, things went wrong and a robot ended up in the repair ward. Most of the bots were fixed quickly and sent back to work. Other bots had bigger problems. The paint bot, for example, flung paint on all the walls. The vacuum bot sneezed out every bit of dust he picked up. And the beautician bot put makeup on everything she came across. These robots were called reject bots. They thought they were fine, yet most of the time they were locked up in the repair ward with no one to serve. One day, the ship's captain sent a probe bot named Eve to Earth to see if life still existed. Eve soon returned with a live plant as proof, but she also returned with someone else, an Earth robot named WALL-E. WALL-E followed Eve onto the Axiom and into the repair ward. He was put with the reject bots while Eve had her inspection. Suddenly, WALL-E saw Eve's blaster arm come off. He had to help her, he thought. The reject bots watched in awe as WALL-E used his laser beam to cut himself free. They realized that WALL-E seemed to do what he wanted, not what his programming told him to do. WALL-E raced over to Eve. He thought that the repair bots were hurting her. He didn't know that her blaster arm always came off during her checkups. Eve tried to tell him she was fine, but WALL-E grabbed her blaster arm away from the repair bots. Then, he accidentally zapped the room's control panel with it. The doors of the ward flew open. Suddenly, the reject bots were free. The reject bots cheered for their hero WALL-E. They grabbed the Earth robot and carried him out of the repair ward. They were determined not to go back there. But Eve knew that trouble lay ahead. Sure enough, as soon as WALL-E and the reject bots left the repair ward, they were stopped by steward bots. It was the steward bots' job to keep order on the Axiom. "Halt!" they ordered. The reject bots froze, and Eve sprang into action. She took back her blaster arm from WALL-E, but as she reattached it, a steward bot took a picture. Soon, the picture of WALL-E and Eve was on display all over the ship with a warning that said, "Caution, rogue robots." Instead of running away, the reject bots decided to help WALL-E escape and return home to Earth. They fought off the steward bots as Eve zoomed WALL-E away. Eve knew she had to get the plant to the Axiom's captain so he could see that there was life on Earth and return WALL-E to his home. Indeed, the captain was excited when he saw the little plant. If a plant could grow on Earth, then everyone could go back. The humans cheered while the captain turned on the machine that would steer the Axiom back to Earth. But the ship's autopilot had other ideas. "Sir, orders are, do not return to Earth," Otto told the captain. WALL-E tried to stop the autopilot, but Otto fought back. Luckily, the captain found a shutdown button and piloted the Axiom to Earth himself. Unfortunately, WALL-E had been crushed under the weight of the machine. He fell to the floor, broken. "WALL-E," said Eve, holding him close, but the hero robot didn't answer. As soon as the Axiom landed on Earth, Eve whisked WALL-E back to his home to try to repair him. The reject bots gathered around and watched hopefully as she tried to find the right parts. When Eve had done her best, she blasted a hole in Wally's roof, and sunlight poured in to recharge him. Suddenly, Wally woke up. "Eva," he said. Eve held out her hand, and a spark of energy passed between them. Everyone cheered. They were overjoyed to see that their hero was okay. Wally had taught them that there was more to life than work. Now, they could all live happily ever after on Earth. The end.